used to compare myself with other people. John Wesley was one of the greatest men of God, as I understand, in the history of the church. Fantastically disciplined man he was converted very late in life, I think when he was 35 or something. And he lived up to 88 or something like that. And there was another great man of God in John Wesley's time called George Whitefield. These two were the greatest open-air evangelists in the 1700s, both in England. Both of them brought hundreds and probably thousands to Christ preaching out in the open air. But they had completely different view on whether a person could be lost after he was saved once. On that one doctrine, George Whitefield said, if a person is saved, he's saved forever. John Wesley said, no. You have to endure till the end in order to be saved. And so they couldn't work together. These were called the Calvinists, George Whitefield, and the Arminians, John Wesley's group. And they had their own following. George Whitefield died very early. But these men had a great respect for each other. The followers usually have problems. And George Whitefield said, when I die, I want John Wesley to conduct my funeral. None of you fellows. He tells his followers. Of course, John Wesley was honored. So at George Whitefield's funeral, John Wesley goes and conducts the funeral. And one of John Wesley's followers, who's not very happy that you go and conduct the funeral of this fellow whose doctrine is all wrong, comes to John Wesley and asks him, well, Brother John, do you think you'll see George Whitefield in heaven? John Wesley said, no. He will be so near the throne, and I'll be so far behind that I may not get to see him. That is the mark of a man of God. Here's a person whose doctrine is different. But John Wesley knew that in the day of judgment, God is not going to give us a question paper on doctrine to decide what our reward is. Because that will be a test of our head. He's going to see what type of people we were in our heart, whether we denied ourselves, whether we did good to others. That's why we're going to get many surprises in heaven, why Jesus said, many who are last will be first. And many who are first will be last. Many who people think you're great, those are great guys. You may find them last in heaven.